soaking for an hour. So I'm gonna go over and I'm going to drain them using a colander in the sink. And I'm gonna give them a little rinse. And then I'm gonna put them back in the pot that I just used. The recipe says that you need to cover them with 4 inches of water. It doesn't have to be exact, but you do want quite a bit of water covering the chickpeas because they're gonna cook a while and the water is going to evaporate or be soaked up by the chickpeas. So I'm gonna fill my pot again. And I'm gonna cover the chickpeas by quite a bit of water, like as much as this pot will let me do. And as you're cooking these chickpeas, you might realize you need to add more water. And that's fine. So I have about that much water. I'm just gonna keep checking in to see if the water evaporates. So now I'm gonna go over to my stove again. And I'm gonna put in a teaspoon of baking soda. That helps the skin of the chickpeas come off, which is a good thing. So I'm going to put in a teaspoon of baking soda. And then I'm also gonna put in 2 teaspoons of salt. So I'm not even gonna do it exactly. I'm just going to eyeball it. It doesn't really matter. So 2 teaspoons of salt. And then I'm gonna turn this on to high. And I'm gonna bring it to a boil. And once it's boiling, I'm gonna turn it down. So we're gonna wait for it to come to a boil. Okay, so the chickpeas are boiling now. And they're gonna need to boil for quite a while. They're gonna need to simmer for quite a while. So on my stove here, I have it on high. I'm gonna turn it down to about medium low. I don't want the simmer to go away completely, so I'm gonna start with medium low, and that should be okay. And then they're gonna cook for probably an hour. But I'm gonna check back in about 30 minutes and taste one to see how they're doing. With hummus, you want really, really soft chickpeas because you're mashing them. If we were using these chickpeas like in a pasta or a salad or something else, you would want them a little firmer and so you wouldn't cook them quite as long. But we're gonna cook them for about probably an hour, but I'm gonna check it 30 minutes. So see how the temperatures come down, the boiling's decreased a little bit. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit lower. Just let them cook at a low boil. And I'll check back in 30 minutes. So it's been about 30 minutes and I'm looking and the water level is pretty low. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit more water in just a minute. And then I'm also going to test the chickpeas and see how they're tasting to see if they're soft enough. So I'm just gonna grab one. Put it to the side over here, blow on it. So they're still pretty crunchy, not quite done yet. I don't think though it's gonna take a whole hour. So this time I'm gonna set my timer for about 15 minutes. So we'll be at 45 minutes and I'm gonna add a little bit more water in. Alex, would you put some water in that little container? My sous chef is helping me. That's probably good. Yep. And I'm just gonna put a little bit more water in, and that's fine. It's gonna take a minute to come back to a boil, and that's totally fine. So I'll check back in 15 minutes. Okay, so it's been a little over 45 minutes, and I just tested them again, and they're really soft, so I'm actually gonna be done. They didn't take the full hour. So I'm gonna turn off the heat, and then I'm gonna take the pot and I'm gonna go drain it in the sink. And I don't need these chickpeas for a while, until Tuesday, so I'm just gonna put them in a Tupperware and keep them in the fridge until then, when we make hummus together.